Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. My clients and I have long found a technique called the 1-minute struggle to be a useful time management technique, and I've briefly talked with you about it. But yesterday, a client asked me lots of questions about it, and the following summarizes my responses. But first, what is the 1-minute struggle? When we're working on a task, we often reach a roadblock. Maybe it's when we're first starting it, and we don't know how to proceed. Or it could be somewhere along the way. It's tempting to keep struggling until we solve the problem, or to give up prematurely. Of course, every situation is different, but it's helpful to go through life with rules of thumb. And generally, my clients have found it useful to struggle with a roadblock for only about 1 minute. If you've made progress on it, keep going. If not, consciously decide whether to keep at it, ask for help, come back to it later with fresh eyes, or decide that the task could be adequately done without conquering that roadblock. By limiting your struggle, you increase your chances of getting the task done expeditiously and with less pain. That's valuable not only in itself, but over time, it should reduce your tendency to procrastinate because we think the task will be unpleasant. If we're struggling less, the task will be less unpleasant. Of course, the most unpleasant part of tasks is when we're stuck. For example, staring at a screen for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, even 20 minutes, inert, unable to conquer the roadblock. So, if we are reducing our struggling time using the 1-minute struggle, tasks become more pleasant, and thus, in facing new tasks, we're likely to procrastinate less. The more unpleasant the task, the more likely we are to procrastinate. My client said, though, but if I can't solve it in a minute or get help in a minute, after that minute, I'm going to be worrying about not having solved it, and it'll be rolling around in my brain as I'm working on the task, and even afterwards. Well, my response is that that is better than continuing the struggle. You'll have moved forward on the task, and if at the same time, or even after you've completed the task, a solution emerges, without you having wasted painful time struggling, you can then go off, not always, but often go back and fix the problem. And if not, you'll at least have had the good feeling of having solved the problem. My client then asked, but won't the 1-minute struggle too often lead to bad work? True, it increases the possibility of that, but in most cases, it's going to be a modest decrement. Yeah, if you spend unlimited time struggling over a task roadblock, you'll probably come up with a better product, but that's too narrow a definition of effectiveness. It's a too narrow look at the picture. If we spend unlimited time on task A, by definition, we're not spending time on tasks B, C, and D, let alone on having fun. What counts is your net productivity and pleasure. And the 1-minute struggle rule of thumb tends to optimize that. Again, the 1-minute struggle isn't a rule, it's a rule of thumb. Consider using it as the default, but flex or drop it as your preference and the situation requires. For example, with a given roadblock, after a minute of struggle has passed with no progress, you may decide to continue struggling, maybe because the roadblock is understandably difficult and deserves more time, or because it's crucial to the task being done well enough, or because the task is important enough to justify additional struggle. But my clients and I have found that approaching tasks with the knowledge that when you reach a roadblock, you will have a potential way to reduce the struggling, that can be comforting, effective, and an under-discussed way to prevent procrastination on that task and on future ones. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I'm Marty Nemko. I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.